they'll say beauty is subjective. But then I was thinking about this as a counter argument. So you can even ask them perhaps a question like, well, do you think in general people will tend to appraise people who are obese as less attractive as people who are fit? And I think even most of the people who say beauty is subjective will have to concede on that one and say, yes, like thin people, by and large, no pun intended, are going to be appraised as more attractive than obese people.
Yeah, but what would be the counter to the argument of, but there's some cultures where the 500-pound women are worshipped as goddesses, Brian.
But so then,
what about those cultures, Brian? And that's how you know it's all socially subjective, and there's no such thing as symmetry in what people find attractive, Brian.
But so then, I think the checkmate here on this argument, at least for future usage, would be: is obesity subjective? And it's clearly not. Obesity is an objective measurement.
How is that an objective? It's literally arbitrary.
Well, I mean, if we say that obesity is you weigh over this much.
Yeah, that would be an arbitrary metric, though.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's literally arbitrary. So we come up with the word obese based on an arbitrary metric, which says if you're over this amount of weight, which we also made up, you're then obese. So it's arbitrary, literally.
So then how about just the term fat?
Sure.
Is that more copacetic?
Nah, it's still arbitrary, though.
Still arbitrary?
Yeah. Like, whatever system you come up with for fat is going to be a constructed system, right?
Isn't it medical?
Well, no, but they're actually in, like, you can see it with your eyes, their body fat percentage.
Yeah, but this is where you get into the subjective thing, though, right? Because fat can mean anything to anybody.
Green Day was good. Then they started chanting F America because they are
pro-abortion.
Yeah. Motley Crue makes me feel American.
Yep.
Alice Cooper too. Brian, please add Team America song 2 to the soundboard.
See, this guy's great taste in music.
Thank you, Dylan.
I think that's the problem, right? Is they would just say, well, to some men, some women who aren't fat, they consider them fat, and so it's subjective. So I think that you run into that. But I think that the first part's a great argument.
Donated $100. You will never be drafted. Why hate CCR? As a vet and a man who works on the dark side of IT, you will never have a clue. Stan/rap God by EM tell an incredible story. Slayer has amazing stories as well.
Yeah, Slayer's good. I probably shouldn't even say that, right? But I still like Slayer. But I think that the first part of the argument that most people would be attractive towards a thinner woman, I think that they'd have to concede on that. But I'm not sure how that moves it out of subjectivity.
Wait, so you don't think it's objective?
No, I think that there's objective standards. I'm just saying that I think that it could be successfully argued it's subjective from the other side. Well, obesity especially can be, I mean, that's 100% a subjective standard.
I'm going to have to think further about that.
There's no way it could be anything but a subjective standard. We come up with the standard for what is obese.
Objective as it pertains to...
Well, none of that's objective. Then an objective standard would be, there's like almost universal agreement on the intuition. We could say that that's something akin to objectivity.
So let me ask you a question. The fattest woman in the world... Mm-hmm. You don't think that she is objectively fat?
No, that would still be a subjective standard, yeah.
But she is the fattest woman in the world.
Yeah.
No woman has ever been fatter than her.
Is there potential that somebody else could be fatter than her?
Sure.
Okay, well then I don't know. It's still subjective.
How about then, well, what if no other woman could be, she's got some sort of medical condition?
Then it would be objective that she's the fattest woman who's ever been in the world, but not objective that that the standard which we call fat is objective.
No, but is she objectively fat?
Yes. By the standard, the arbitrary standard, she would be objectively fat. So the standard's still arbitrary.
Bro, I got a headache. God damn. I'm trying to parse it. Okay, how about this? Is BMI objective?
Well, no, I'm sorry. The standard's not arbitrary because there is a standard. Sorry. Anyway, what's that? BMI?
Is BMI objective, body mass index? Is that an objective?
Well, no, listen, all of these systems that you're talking about, that you're basing it on, are subjective systems, meaning we constructed them out of what? What did we construct the system? Like, what did we construct inches out of? It's a subjective unit of metric that we came up with. We made it up, right?
Okay, I'm trying to parse this. So I have 5 fingers. Is
Yep.
that objective or subjective?
That would be objectively true.
Wait. On this hand.
On that hand,
On
yeah. That would be
not double.
objectively true, yeah.
But so why couldn't this same sort of thing be applied
Because
to...
there's metaphysical truths, and math is a metaphysical truth. So 5 can't ever be anything other than 5.
But okay, Andrew.
But
so,
an inch, hang on.
Wait,
In,
hold on,
your,
wait.
in her country, they use kilograms, right?
Sure.
Okay, so and here we use pounds, right?
Yeah, but they could... A certain kilogram could equal a certain poundage.
Yeah, right. But hang on. But who comes up with those metrics?
Well, it's descriptive.
Descriptive of a metric that we
But it's
constructed.
physics. So you step on a scale and you will weigh this much.
Well,
Or you do weigh that much.
Yeah, in kilograms or in pounds, objectively.
You can change the scale.
Right, so it's subjective. To whatever we decide that the weigh note is would be subjective.
Huh?
So, okay. Math is an objective standard.
Wait, okay.
1 + 1 must always equal 2. That's logically always must be true, right? But systems and standards, like the scientific method, for instance, is that objectively true? No, it's objectively not true. It's a subjective metric that we came up with.
Wait, so if somebody is 6 feet tall,
Yeah.
is that objective or subjective?
I mean, tall would be subjective. The fact that they're 6 feet, they're mathematically...
Wait.
They're
Wait,
mathematically
no.
X
Tall?
numbers.
Wait, tall is objective.
Subjective.
Wait, oh, I thought you said tall is objective.
No, tall would be subjective.
And then 6 feet also subjective?
Well, the metric for what is 6 feet would be subjective, but whatever the numerics which came out to 6 feet would be objective.
Okay, so I still don't really get it. Wait, so okay. If a woman is 500 pounds,
Yep.
is she not objectively fat?
Yeah, okay. So I'm literally playing the devil's advocate here. So I want to say, yeah, of course that bitch is fat. But what I'm saying to you is that the argument from the opposition is always going to be that's a subjective standard. What makes her fat, Brian?
Well, is also her being 500 pounds, is that objective or subjective?
Okay, so we could say that that's objective, that this standard of pounds, she weighs this many. That is true.
And is a woman who's 500
Yeah, but
pounds,
but hang on,
is
but
she
what makes it
gonna look-
fat? But what makes that fat? Yeah.
No, I'm
That's
trying to
the problem,
understand.
bro.
No, I'm trying to understand.
We agree. We can agree, objectively agree. This amount, she's this amount. That's true. This standard of weight that we came up with, she is this amount. Nobody's going to dispute that. They're going to dispute what makes her fat, though.
I'm going to have to think about this
Yeah.
one. I got to think about this one.
That's the problem, bro.
Okay. Good talk.
Yeah.
Good talk. We're going to debate about the whole the bow perfect woman.
We are?
Or not the
Are we
maybe
doing
later,
perfect?
if we have time.
All right.
Maybe on Tuesday,
All right.
actually. Okay, let me get through the notes.
By the way, I just won that debate, Brian. How does that
think
make you feel?
you know what?
How does that make you feel, Brian?
I don't know, Andrew. I think I'm not sure you've convinced me. You know, I
I remain unconvinced.
I remain unconvinced.